Hi, everybody. And in this chapter, we are going to be discussing old age and stages that people go through when they are in old age. So the first stage of the aging process is self-sufficiency. And at this point, you are somebody, in this stage is a senior. They are older, but they are still entirely self-sufficient. They still live independently. They can still conduct most of their daily tasks without help by themselves. But they may be starting to have a little bit of decline, right? It's important for them to continue to be active, right? This can be a really challenging stage because for a lot of people, they are retired. They have been working their whole lives and now they're not. And it's it can be a difficult transition because they lose productivity. They might lose a little bit of sense of self. So it's important that they eat right, they stay active, they stay healthy, they partake in activities. But they also may begin to need just some minor nips and tucks to their lives because they are going to start to face some challenges. It's important that at this stage, people develop a will, they develop a death plan, etc., while they're still completely of their faculties so that they can make sure that their wishes are known and carried out. But largely, they should still be completely self-reliant or mostly self-reliant, and things shouldn't be getting in the way. They can still run a house. They can still go grocery shopping. They can still bathe themselves. There shouldn't be any noteworthy difficulties or safety issues. The stage after self-sufficiency is interdependence. This is where we start to see a little bit more of noteworthy decline. They are still largely self-reliant, but they're going to need help, and they're also going to need some modifications. Sorry, the sun is shining on my face. They're going to need some help, and they might need some modifications to their living circumstances. So they're still living alone, and they can do the bulk of their activities without help, but they do need some amount of care from family and friends. So they might need some modifications to their home. Maybe they need a chairlift to get up the stairs because of arthritis or because of mobility issues. They might need a chair in the shower so that they don't have to risk falling, but they can still bathe independently. They might need help running errands or somebody to drive them because maybe their eyesight is in decline. Maybe their reflexes aren't very good or their hearing is going, so they shouldn't be driving. But largely, they can still do most things on their own. At this stage, you're also going to start seeing cognitive decline ever so slightly, which is not any reason to panic. I mean, the brain ages just like the body, and therefore it's not going to be as robust as a young brain, right? So there's going to be a little bit of cognitive decline here. So there should be regular check-ins from friends and family. This is also a time where seniors really start to experience higher rates of stress and anxiety and depression because it can be difficult to deal with the fact that they are aging, that they are slowing down, they're losing the ability to do certain things, and that overall they're losing their independence. They can't just rely on themselves. They're starting to have to rely on more people. So the best thing that you can do is just keep an open dialogue with them. That this is a natural part of the aging process, and you understand it's frustrating for them, and that you're there for support and help, right? The next stage after that is going to be dependence. And at this stage, the senior can no longer live independently or on their own because it's not safe. There's going to be cognitive decline, there's going to be physical health problems, or there's going to be a combination of the two, which provide immediate safety risks, and it's no longer a really good idea for them to be on their own alone in the home. It's also this combination or one or both of these issues are going to keep them from being able to complete the tasks that they need to do to live independently. In some cases, seniors can remain at home in this stage, but they're going to need significant modifications to the home. Maybe that means selling a two-story house and downsizing to a ranch so there's no more stairs to climb, and other modifications to the house. And they might need a home health aide who is there for a lot of hours, helping them and assisting them, doing check-ins, making sure everything's safe, and doing the things that the seniors can't do. Adult daycare programs are also an option where they go somewhere during the day so that they are safe and that their needs are met, and that there are other people around that can help them if they need help. But in most cases, seniors in these stages will move into either assisted living or nursing care. It depends on the stage that they're in. But assisted living is really great because it still allows seniors to be autonomous. They usually live in a condo or an apartment. It's theirs, right? And then there are people who live in the assisted living facility community who they can call and say, I need a little help with whatever, and they come. I mean, they work on the grounds and they come. All of their yard work is done, all of the snow is removed, etc. So that all of these tasks are already taken care of. And when they need that little extra help, somebody who works at the facility who is trained in care can just come right to their door and help them. So this is a time where there is a large decrease in independence, which again can be a big challenge. It can be confusing, it can be disorienting, and of course there can be noteworthy depression because they may be leaving the home they've lived in for 30 or 40 years, and it's also if they're really independent, it's a hard thing for people to say I'm no longer independent, I need help. So it's important to spend quality time with family, spend quality time with grandkids, and make sure that they are staying engaged in the community to battle that anxiety and that depression and that social isolation that can come with being dependent. And we don't want them to just sit in their rooms or sit in their homes and not leave because they're less dependent. We still want them to be getting out, staying mentally healthy, staying emotionally healthy, being physically healthy, right? If you're sitting at home and you're not doing anything because your independence is gone, then you're not being active, you're not taking care of your body. So we want to encourage them to get out with family and community, etc. The next stage is crisis management, and this occurs when your loved one has a need for immediate medical support. So this could happen because of the onset of a condition, or this could just be something that is a result of the aging process where they need to be in a skilled nursing facility and they need to receive extensive professional care in the home. Sometimes, it's like I said, because of physical ailments. Other times it's memory care for people who have dementia or people who have Alzheimer's, and they lack the cognitive function and therefore it's not safe for them to be on their own. It depends on what's going on. It's a really hard thing to gauge how long a senior will stay in this stage before they need that highest level of nursing care. It could be very quick for some people. For other people, it could be a very extended period of time. It just depends on the progression of what's happening to them at that stage. Moving to a residential facility comes with a lot of challenges, but there's also a lot of benefits there. So not only do they get the medical care they need on site when they need it at any time, but they also have a lot of time and a lot of opportunities for socializing and activities with people, peers their age. Okay. And regular connection with family is important at all of these stages, but especially in crisis management. The next stage is end of life, and end of life is that last stage in the aging process. And at this point, the senior is nearing their final days. Some older adults will stop receiving medical treatment and enter hospice care. They'll stop looking for intervention, and they will recognize that death is near. It's in the very near future. I don't want to continue with treatment. I just want to move into that stage as peacefully and painlessly as possible. Whereas others will continue with the same services all the way through the end of their lives. The most important thing here is, regardless of what decision they make, is that that individual is as comfortable as possible. And accepting end of life is a really hard thing for both the individual, the senior, and their family members. It's really hard to come to terms with one's own mortality. And certainly it's hard for loved ones from an emotional standpoint, but also there's a lot of logistics involved, right? There's a lot of logistics involved in the day-to-day care of somebody who is, managing end of life care, especially if it's because there's an illness or there's an impairment, managing pain, managing illness, but also there's financial issues. And then of course there's estate planning, and there's planning for the funeral, and all of these things are rife with stress, and it's a lot all at once. However, despite all the stress, it can also be a spiritual experience for people. But everybody's attitudes are different. Everybody's attitudes are different, and everybody's experience is different. Okay. Families are often in the position of having to make complex and very painful medical decisions, which can result in a lot of emotional turmoil for the family and for the senior. But end of life care doesn't have to be entirely negative. So it's important for the senior who is at this stage to know that they're loved, to be that they're appreciated, that their memory isn't going to be forgotten, and that they are going to be surrounded by family as they enter the final stages of their life. No two people go through the aging process exactly the same way. That's really important to keep in mind. Some seniors stay in that second or third stage for a decade, right, which is a really long time, whereas some go through that first or that last stage very, very quickly. It just happens very fast. It's hard to watch your parents age. It's hard to watch your grandparents age and lose that mobility and lose that independence and lose that cognitive acuity. And it's frustrating to not know how long any given stage is going to last, right? But everybody, senior and family involved, need to remember that the aging process is a natural part of life, and it's meaningful. There are meaningful moments for every stage. And the better we understand the stages of aging in the senior years, the more comfortable we can. More comfortably we can accommodate the senior, and the more comfortable we can keep that person all the way until the end of life.